Hey everybody, Ryan here at Etrailer. Today on our 2024 Cadillac XT5, we're going to be showing you how to install the Etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver. Before we do that though, let's take a minute, check this out, and make sure it's going to be right for you. So by putting a hitch on the back of your Cadillac, it's going to really help to open up your opportunities on what you're going to be able to do. Whether you're pulling a trailer, using accessories, or a little bit of both. So this one's definitely going to get the job done. I know personally, if I had this vehicle and I was wanting to put a hitch on it, what would come to my mind is the appearance, right? Cadillacs look awesome, and I wouldn't want to take away from that. And the nice thing about this setup is that it's actually going to hide behind this removable door here. So when you're not using it, you can put this door back into position and you won't see the hitch at all. It'll look completely factory, which does bring me to my next point. If you haven't looked behind this yet, it might be worth taking a quick peek. You might have a hitch there from the factory, but because believe it or not, we have seen that before. But if not, this will be a good solution for you. And when you're ready to use it again, this door unsnaps. Now, one thing with this, there will be a couple of screws that actually hold that into place. So you'll put them back in when you're not using it. And they're Torx bit style screws. So one thing that came to my mind, if it were me, I'd probably go to the hardware store and see if I couldn't find some that were a thumb type screw or something, so you wouldn't have to bother with getting a tool out. But not really a big deal either way. There are a couple of other hitches available for the Cadillac, one of them being the Curt hitch, and it's going to pretty much be identical to the Etrailer one. Aside from the finish, the Curt has a gloss black, while the Etrailer has more of this matte black. Personally, on this vehicle, I like the Etrailer one better because it almost matches the plastic on her bumper perfectly. So even with the panel off, at least it blends in. And then there's a hidden type hitch that the receiver tube actually disconnects from it. But on this particular vehicle, I kind of think it's unnecessary, honestly, because the Etrailer and the Curt hitch are also hidden because we have this panel here. So that's entirely up to you. I like the Etrailer and the Curt better though, because you get higher capacities, it's a little more versatile, and so on. One of the big questions a lot of people wonder is if the hands-free liftgate assist feature is still going to work once you have the hitch installed. And the answer is yes. I find it works really well on the left-hand side. As long as you kick your foot under there, hatch will open up like it should. The hitch is going to have a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, which is a good thing because that's really common size for a lot of different accessories. So a lot of stuff will work with it. It's going to use that standard 5/8 pin. Keep in mind though, a pin and clip doesn't come with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. You can always grab it here at Etrailer. A lot of times if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with one. So just something to look for. The safety chain openings are a little bit, far back or far forward rather, but still manageable, and you should be able to use just about any size hook that your trailer might have on it. As far as the weight capacities go, the hitch is going to have some really good numbers. Maximum gross tongue weight rating will be 750 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So that's more than enough for just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. It's the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have in or on it. This can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component. What happens when you use that, it's going to keep your Cadillac and your trailer level whenever you're pulling it down the road. Pretty popular to use on enclosed trailers, campers, things like that. So if that's what you're doing, might be worth looking into. But if you do use that weight distribution, tongue capacity remains the same at 750, but you do get an extra 1,000 pounds out of the trailer, so that'll go up to 6,000. With all that said, I do always like to recommend though, never a bad idea just to grab your Cadillac's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure your SUV can handle that much weight safely. Take a couple measurements now, and these will help us figure out what type of accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be at 19 inches. So if you plan on pulling a trailer, could probably get away using a ball mount that has maybe a couple inch drop in the shank. As far as the accessories go, if they're straight shanks or even have one with the rise, they should work out just fine regardless. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's going to be about 5.5 inches, and you can use that to help figure out exactly if any of those folding accessories you might have can be stored upright without hitting the back of your XT5. So at the end of the day, if I was personally going to put a hitch on my own Cadillac, it would be this one. I think it's the most functional, and when it is visible, I think it looks the best. So really can't go wrong. As far as the installation goes, really not that bad. You know, don't let that Cadillac name scare you. It's really not involved. You get some hardware in the frame, and essentially the hitch just kind of bolts up. So shouldn't run into too many issues, but if you like to hang around, feel free to. We'll go ahead, pull into the garage, and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Cadillac, and what we can do first, we have this removable panel here. So we'll pull out a couple of fasteners and get it removed. You'll have a T15 on each side of the panel. So we'll get the Torx bit in there and get those fasteners removed. And then this should just kind of just pop off from our vehicle here. And we'll set it off to the side. On each side of the vehicle here, we're going to have two 7mm head screws, and I'm going to remove these just so our fascia has a little more wiggle room there, make it easier to get the hitch up. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of the vehicle, we'll also do to the other side, because it'll be set up the same way. We're able to get our hardware in the frame now, and we're going to have 3 attachment points. We have this hole here, this one, and this one. And then this larger one we're going to use as an access hole. So we'll start with this one, take the coiled end of your fish wire, push it through, and get it to come out of that access hole. Then what you can do is take a spacer block and a carriage bolt, and we'll thread that onto the pull wire. And then you're going to feed that hardware up into the frame one at a time. Pull down on it until it drops through. So I'm going to use that same technique and that same hardware combination to get the other attachment points ready. If you can have someone give you a hand with this part, it makes it much easier. But we'll take our hitch and take the pull wires, drop them down through the holes in the hitch. And then we can raise it up into position here. It is kind of tight, so take your time. We'll have to kind of sneak it into place there. And once it's in position, we can get one of the pull wires removed and take a flange nut and get at least one of them started hand tight. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the bolts. With all the hardware in place and hand tight, you can come back with an 11/16 size socket and snug everything down. Now we can come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. Don't forget to come back and put the 7mm head screws in the bottom of the bumper. And with that done, you know, if you plan on using your hitch right away, you can leave it like this. If not, you can always put that door back into position. But with that done, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver on our 2024 Cadillac XT5.